Today's episode was brought to you by Wild Bill's Fireworks, PopChevy.com, and the Kent Rose Foundation. This episode is also brought to you by TheForkEnd.com. Today we welcome our special guest, Blake McDaniel.
Okay, Harold, boy, we got a really cool guest today, an old friend of mine. Blake's worn a lot of hats. He started out as a booking agent. He's made some award-winning documentaries. He's just a great friend, a really talented guy, Blake McDaniel.
Blake, I want to welcome you to Behind the Shed, and on behalf of Russ and Wade, our illustrious cohorts in this venture, we're happy to have you here, and we want to hear a lot about how you got started. I know you're working with some of our really good friends now, and you started with some of our good buddies in the beginning.
That's right.
And you did some of the hard work, and we want to know about all of that.
Yeah, man.
Fantastic. Well, look, I just want to say it's an honor being here with you. Any chance to be able to be in the same room with an icon as yourself, it's a real pleasure.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for having me. It really is. So I started off as a drummer. I love music. That drumming ended up getting me a scholarship at the University of North Alabama in Muscle Shoals, a place that has a rich history of music. Yeah. So spent some time there. I got my music business degree at the University of North Alabama. Then I went on to get my master's in business administration there. And then I packed up everything and moved to Nashville to try to make it in the music business. And so the first job I landed was at a place called Creative Artist Agency. It's a booking agency that represent talents
one
of
of the
all
biggest.
sorts. It is one of the biggest.
And best.
Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. And so even though in my mind leading up to that, I thought that I wanted to work for a record label, do the A&R thing, this was kind of a little bit of a detour for me. So it's fine. I ended up getting into it and getting into CAA. I was hired as a temp employee where I was filling in for the receptionist. I was filing paperwork, cleaning the kitchen, making coffee, doing whatever odd jobs that the agents needed me to do. And then from there, kind of worked my way up into an agent's assistant. And so I worked for several different agents in different genres. Worked for an agent that did contemporary Christian music, one that did country music, dabbled in the bluegrass world for a little bit, loved that. I have a deep love for bluegrass music.
Yeah.
And then after a time, it occurred to me that all these agents were talking about contracts and arguing about contracts with promoters, et cetera. And I knew that they really didn't know a lot about law. So I thought it would probably behoove me to learn a little bit about law if I were going into this side of the business. So I started going to law school at night at the Nashville School of Law. So I'd be an agent's assistant during the day, leave CAA, go to my classes at night, or I would go home and start studying. And so after about a year of that, the first year where you learn all the basics, the nuts and bolts of law, I completed that and had a bit of a summer break, and the next year was going to focus on courtroom procedure and writing briefs, things I really didn't care about. So at that time, the agent in training position came open at CAA, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to put my name in for that. So I did, and they accepted me. And that was my off-ramp, I think, to law school, and I took it as that. And so I dropped out of law school and then went into the agent training program. And
What year was that?
Wow, that was 2006.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so they put me in the rock world for a little bit. I worked under Scott Clayton, who is an amazing, iconic agent, just retired several months ago, as a matter of fact, and learned a lot from him, and then moved back into the country space, and then started off booking clubs, and then moved me up to theaters and performing arts centers, and then they moved me up to arenas and amphitheaters, and so that's what I did as my core job. Always had this curiosity about the television film world, and so because CA is so big and represents film directors and producers and actors, and I had a lot of colleagues that I could kind of pull information from. And so I did that for a good bit and started doing a few projects and putting them together and got them out in the world, and they did relatively well. And so about 3 years ago, it kind of occurred to me, okay, I need to figure out what I want to do in my next iteration of life. And I wanted to kind of broaden what I was doing. And so I was lucky enough to be able to roll out of CAA and work with Tony Conway, another iconic person in the business. Yeah. We're doing a number of wonderful things over there at Conway Entertainment Group. Very exciting. And Tony is the best boss in the world. He treats me like a partner, but he'll always be my boss. And so that's kind of where I'm at now.
That's cool.
That's great, man.
Yeah. And of course, you're still booking Alabama.
Correct. I am Alabama's agent. 15 years now.
Wow.
It's the dream job. It really is. Being from Alabama and being able to book the greatest band in country music history is just an honor of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so, it's a dream that just doesn't seem to end. And I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Yeah, man.
Great, man.
So moving on then from that, what are you working on now? What are the things you're excited about?
Wow. So obviously booking Alabama, we're doing that. We've got several new artists that we've picked up, and so we're excited about the future of that, which is great. An artist named Titus Thornton, and he's from Alabama as well, and a new act that we're developing. We're leaning into venues and able to do some buying for venues, which is great. It's an interesting business because you've got a lot of municipalities that'll build theaters or arenas, and they just don't know how to run them effectively and how to at least break even. And so we're able to come in and help them with that. And
Yeah,
so,
that's cool.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that
man.
area of business as well.
Very cool.
Is their biggest challenge like the number of seats they have versus what kind of talent they're trying to book?
Well, there's a lot to it, right? So, yes, capacities are an issue at times because depending on what artist you want to go for, you have to have a particular capacity. And if you have too small of capacity, then you can't gross enough to be able to pay the artists and pay the bills, et cetera. So it ends up being a loss for them. And then you have to get creative with your programming. Sometimes concerts aren't the only thing you need to be putting in those venues. You could be putting in speakers. You could be putting in musical performances like Broadway musicals, et cetera. You can do movies, and you can bring movies in, and some of the actors will come along and do a Q&A with the actual film that you're playing. And so opening up the possibilities of what programming is in that particular venue is very important. Also, you got to look at your expenses, what's your ticketing deal? What does that look like? What does the concession deal look like? Are you able to share properly in those concessions? Are you providing the proper concessions for the particular market that you are in at that time? You have to look at that. You have to look at what kind of programming your market is going to respond to, and then lean into that. A lot of these venues don't know the agents. They don't know how to cut a fair deal. They don't know what is a fair deal because they're kind of isolated. They can't compare what other venues are paying. They don't know how to look at ticket history and how to anticipate what a particular artist will sell when they get there. So sometimes they pay the artist too much. So it's a variety of different things and challenges that these venues have to go up against. And it's people that just aren't in the business. They just don't know. They're well-meaning people. They're hardworking people. They just don't have the knowledge or the contacts or the perspective to be able to run it properly. So we come in and help them with that.
Does that also include like sponsorship opportunities for that particular venue?
Perhaps, yes. I mean, of course, we're not going to be the ones that know the particular companies in that marketplace, so we'll need to be able to make those introductions, but we know how to construct a fair deal where the brands get what they want to out of the deal and the venue gets what they want to as well.
Is it still similar, or what is the difference now than, say, 2006 when you were in your early stages? And
There's so many hands in the pot now in the live music space, because when I started, most of the artists were getting their revenues from album sales. And then when the digital revolution happened, that started dropping. And being in the agency world, we didn't know how that was going to affect us. But what we saw was that we were able to push the ticket prices up a little bit. We were able to, the artists wanted to work more days because they weren't getting the kind of money that they were from the label side of things. So instead of doing a tour of 30 dates to support an album, they would put an album out so they could tour 100 dates a year.
Yeah.
So we started seeing our business triple. And a lot of the money that the consumer was putting into buying albums, the physical products, $15 albums, they were now able to buy 2 or 3 or 4 songs off of that album for $3 or $4 or $5. And that extra money, what they were doing is they were shifting it over into the live side, and they were able to use that to buy tickets.
Wow.
And so we saw our business just take off. And as it took off, there were more people coming into the business figuring out how to monetize that, or how to, siphon a little bit of that money off to themselves, which is natural in any kind of growth business.
Yeah.
So then there was the advent of Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster comes along, and they, start building their empire with the different venues.
Yeah.
And then that was about the same time that I'm going blank with the name. It was a radio conglomerate, Clear Channel. So Clear Channel started buying up individual promoters. So at one time, if you went into an area of the country, there was probably 1 or 2 promoters that basically ran that region, and that's who you would go to do your concert deals.
Yeah.
Clear Channel came along and started buying up those individual promoters, lumped them all together, and sold that off eventually, and that became Live Nation.
Wow. I didn't know that history.
Yeah. And that happened around the early 2000s, by the way.
Yeah. Revenue-wise, I know at one time, going on back to the beginning, when Alabama was first touring auditoriums and more than 500-seat places.
Yeah.
If we sold $70,000 in tickets the same day, there would be 70 at least in merchandise sold.
That's
now,
right.
how has that changed?
It's interesting.
Or has it changed?
It has. It has changed a lot. So the deals are different now. A lot of times, a promoter would come in and say, I want to buy 5 dates for this amount of money. And you would get that check, and that would be it. And you play the shows, and whatever money came in above the basic expenses and the artist guarantee, the promoter just kept. So that's the way it worked for a long period of time. Agents came in and started negotiating different kinds of deals.
Yeah.
So now, instead of Alabama going and grossing, say, $70,000 at a show and getting paid $25,000, and the promoter paying expenses and taking the rest of that, we go in and cut a deal where we say, for instance, we will do the show for $25,000, but we also want 85% of the net.
Today's episode was brought to you by Wild Bill's Fireworks, popchevy.com, and the Kent Rose Foundation. This episode is also brought to you by theforkend.com.
So, deals today are a little bit different than they were back pre-2000, and they're different in the way where back when, say, Alabama began touring, a lot of times promoters would pay them a flat guarantee, a flat rate, whatever that was. Sometimes the promoters would say, I want 5 dates. I'm going to pay you $25,000 for each date. You come, you perform, and then the promoter would take whatever money was above and beyond the guarantee and the expenses of the particular show. They would just pocket that, it would be theirs. Agents came in and started negotiating those deals differently, where now, for instance, if an artist were coming in and getting paid $25,000, the deal would be, okay, we have a guarantee of $25,000 versus 80% of the net revenue. So the deal would be, you're going to pay the band $25,000 no matter what, and then after you put all of your expenses together and lump that all together, whatever's left over, that profit, we split 80-20 to the artist, 80 to the artist. And so it gave the artist more leverage, because at one time, there were decades where the promoters had the leverage. They were making a bulk of the income that came in.
Yeah.
And so agents were able to come in and kind of recalibrate that leverage a little bit and make it more fair for the artists themselves.
Now, when Ticketmaster sells the tickets, now they have the resale. Does artists get a percentage of that?
They do.
Okay.
They do. It's called the Platinum Lift, and it's part of the deal that's cut. So, yes, Ticketmaster gets a little bit of it. The person who owns the ticket gets a little bit of it, and the artist gets some as well.
Okay, that's a better
there's
deal.
A Platinum Lift.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Platinum Lift.
Yeah,
Great.
so what would happen is if I bought a ticket for Alabama and I got it for face value, I could then go back and resell it on Ticketmaster for 10 times face value, and the artist wouldn't get any of that extra profit, but now they do.
Now they do. Yeah.
Wow.
It's called the secondary ticket market. Secondary ticket market.
It's huge.
It's massive. And
But
Yes.
in value, dollar-wise, merchandise, is it about the same amount as the cost of that show at that particular venue?
it depends. It's funny because some artist fans love the merchandise and some artist fans are so-so about it. So it depends on the artist, believe it or not.
I got you.
Like
Yeah.
Kiss.
There you go. There you go. Some people will go and they will have to get a T-shirt for that show. Some people have already bought the T-shirts. But yeah, it's really artist dependent. But there is a lot of money in the merchandise game. A lot of it in there.
Yeah.
But probably some of it has been purchased already online or somewhere.
Exactly. There's so many. To your point, that's a very good point.
Not just at the show.
Exactly right. That's a very good point, because now it's so easy to get your hands on merchandise like that. You don't have to go to the show to get it. Then a lot of the merchandise that would have been sold at the show itself is being, like, as you say, purchased online or in stores or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Go ahead.
That's kind of the way that NASCAR did it before Earnhardt. Earnhardt trademarked his name.
Yeah.
So then anybody that put his name on anything, he got a cut of, and nobody had ever done that before in the racing world.
I didn't know that.
And then he was able to start then other drivers came to him
Yeah.
and wanted to do a deal that he had.
Yeah.
So he owned a piece of every other driver on the racetrack. So the fact that Jeff Gordon fans hated his guts was great, because he also got a cut of Jeff Gordon merchandise.
He won either way.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
That's great.
That's funny. So how do you divide your time in all that stuff today? I mean, you're booking Alabama, you're still booking things, you're consulting venues, and I want to get into the film stuff you're doing too, but how do you divide your time?
Well, Alabama is my first love and always will be my first love. So they always get the brunt of my time when they need it.
Mine too. I can relate to that.
Yeah, I've been Alabama's agent for 15 years now, and it's
That's
been
great, man.
It's been, I'm the luckiest guy in the world to be able to do that, and so as I said, coming from Alabama, being able to represent the greatest band in country music history, it's the honor of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so I make sure that they're always my priority, and they are. So, but they do maybe 30, 35 dates a year. And so we'll focus in on that, get that done. And to answer your question, how you divide your time up, it depends on where I'm needed. And luckily I have some amazing colleagues at Conway Entertainment Group. And anytime we need help with something, we're always willing to jump in and help out each other.
Yeah.
So there are times when Brandon needs some help booking Randy Travis. And so I'll dig around and find a date or two to kind of help fill out a weekend for him. Sometimes I'll need a little help with Alabama. He'll jump in and help me out with that, when needed. So it ebbs and flows, the business, and we do a really good job of delegating and making sure that everybody's bandwidth is properly taken care of, so no one's overwhelmed. And so that way, and we're able to synergize these businesses too in a really interesting way, because we're booking Alabama, we kind of know what the dynamics are out there for the venues, and we're able to kind of speak to that with the venues themselves. And because we're able to know these agents and the promoters, it all kind of synergizes together. And when we're at a venue and the venue's needing to bring more shows in there, we know the promoters to call to say, hey, you should consider putting more shows in this particular venue. And because they've worked with us in other capacities, they're more willing to do that.
Yeah.
So we really do a really good job of synergizing those businesses together so everybody wins.
Right. Okay, so you're booking talent, and now I know you got into the film business a little bit. We talked about that in the past. Tell us about that too. What you're doing with that?
So while I was at CAA, I had a couple of ideas that I wanted to pursue. Of course, I was a booking agent, so that was a bit outside of my lane. So I took these ideas to one of our clients that I knew very well, a production company called Believe Entertainment. One of them was called American Anthems. The idea was to get an artist, pair this artist up with an everyday person doing extraordinary things, something that was inspirational. They had overcome odds. They were helping their community in amazing ways. And then have that artist spend the day with this person and learn why they were special and what made them unique. And then after that day, the artist would leave, and they would meet up again the next night, whether it be a showcase or a dinner or something like that. We would get all of the person's friends and family together, and the artist, without this person knowing, would come out and say, you affected me in these amazing ways and inspired me to write a song about you. Here's my gift back to you. Here's your song. And then would sing the song to them. And that was the show. And so from the moment I came up with the idea to the moment it actually made it on air, it was on PBS, was about 7 years. And so, but it did really well. We got 4 Emmy nominations and won an Emmy for Jennifer Nettles for Best Song.
Yep.
Which was
really
great.
Yeah, man.
It was fantastic. So that was one of my projects. Another one that I came up with was there's this hip hop group, Run DMC, probably the most important hip hop group in that genre.
Yep.
Because they're the ones who actually took that genre and spread it worldwide.
Right.
And crossed all these demographics that never were touched by hip hop music at the time. So I believe that they needed a documentary. So I was able to sign the band as a client, and then talk the band into doing a documentary with a production company. So I did what's called packaging. So we packaged the producer with the band. We got a director to come in to direct. We were able to take that package and sell it to Peacock. And then during the pandemic, we went to work on putting a documentary together. So it was a fun and interesting project. We got that out into the world and got a Grammy nomination for that one, which I'm very proud of.
Yeah, man.
And then, so that was that project. So I have a couple others that I'm kind of in development with right now, and Tony's kind enough to let me kind of dabble in that and kind of, scratch that itch as I'm doing everything else.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, but you you have more plans to do more of that stuff? Or if, like, as I know you, as long as I've known you, I've got an act, I need a booking agent. Are you looking for that anymore? Are you trying to move away from that, keep what you got and move away? Or is it more about the shows you're doing?
That's an interesting question. So at Conway Entertainment Group, we're always looking for something special. And if something comes forward and we see a vision for it and we think that it's a good match, then yeah, we'll go in and we'll do that.
Cool.
But what's great is that it feels like there's no end to great ideas and great art. And in my mind, I just want to support great art and great artists and get it out to the world in a quality way. And What does that mean? That means if we see that, there's too much business coming in that we can handle, then we'll hire somebody else. There's plenty of people out there that can help us achieve this vision for the art and the artists. So to your point, Russ, yeah, there's several projects that I'm working on. Those projects notoriously take long periods of time. And sometimes there's months where I won't do any work at all on the project. And then there's weeks where I'll be on the phone for several hours a day dealing with it. So you just never know. But you construct your business and you construct your support system to properly support the art that you are developing. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
And so that's my plan, and that's what we're going to do.
Cool. Very cool. You mentioned Stan Barnett earlier. We talked, or one of us did. An agent we've known forever and ever and ever, and Harold's known longer than me, actually. Mm-hmm. And that you said one time he taught you how to be an agent.
Yeah, it's so. I have to say, I worked for several different agents. I learned something from each of them. I worked for Stan for about 2 years. Stan Barnett, for those who don't know, is an iconic agent. He was in the business for years. So well respected. He was Keith Whitley's agent. He was Buck Owens' agent. He just and he came from that old school where you did it because you were passionate about the business and you were passionate about the people you were doing business with. And was it about the money? Yes, it's a business, right? And you have to make money. You have to make the dollars and cents work out. But Stan taught me to make it fun. And not only make it fun, but treat people right. Know that you're in the long game. You're not trying to go out there and get as much money as you can from each individual deal. You're building a career for you, a career for that artist that you represent, and you want that career to have a long tail on it. So play the long game. He still does, has an amazing amount of trust that the business has for him.
Yeah.
And that's something that I wanted to emulate. I wanted the people to know that when they're doing business with me, they can trust me, that, I'm going to represent my artists, but we're going to try to come out of this with the best deal for both people so we can keep doing deal after deal after deal after deal.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's cool. Good man. Great answer. In the older world that I was in not so recently, when artists get record deals today or whatever they do and they get hot, whatever, and they're looking for an agent, you guys then are still embracing young artists coming in and looking for new talent to work with.
Yes.
And is there anybody new on the horizon you're working with now that?
Well, Titus Thornton is one of them. I mentioned him. He's got this amazing voice. It sounds like, Keith Whitley. So he's got that. One of the things I love about bluegrass is unique. The vocalists themselves, they don't do any vibrato, and which is amazing because you have to hit that note. You have to stay in tune.
Yep.
There's no waving around it, and he has that, but he sings country songs like Keith Whitley did, right?
Wow.
Keith Whitley used that vocal style from the bluegrass world.
That's right. He didn't go looking.
That's right. And he plugged it into the country world, and it was so impactful and so unique.
Yeah.
And Titus has that.
Yeah.
He's 17 years old. He turns 18 in 3 weeks, so he's a youngster. He's a fourth-generation farmer from North Alabama, Rogersville.
Wow.
So he is legit. He will pull out deep covers from Merle Haggard and Keith Whitley, songs that most people have never heard before, and they'll think he wrote it. He's like, no. I'll listen to all the songs on the album, and I love to perform all the songs on an album.
Yeah.
So it's very unique.
Who is this guy?
Titus Thornton is his name.
Titus Thornton.
Titus Thornton.
Great name.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big boy. He's got a name that fits his persona. He's a big boy.
Who produces his records?
No one yet. We're on the very, very bottom end of developing him, but we're certain we've got an amazing talent with
There
him.
you go, Harold.
Yeah, Harold.
We're going to dig in hard. Yeah.
Harold grew up playing bluegrass, so.
Oh, I didn't know that, Harold.
Yeah. My first band was a bluegrass band.
Wow.
Mandolin player.
I played
Really?
I thought I did.
I represented Rhonda Vincent. I represented
I love
Ralph
Rhonda.
Stanley. Yeah. in my early days. Yeah.
She's great.
You talking about icons there,
right?
Yeah.
Queen of Bluegrass, grandfather of Bluegrass.
And Benson and Daly and
That's
Rhonda,
right.
You can't get any better.
I agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now
agreed.
you mentioned Jennifer. Do you represent her?
We did at CAA. When I was at Creative
When you were
Artists
at
Agency,
CAA,
she was one
okay.
of the artists on the roster. And so when I came up with this idea, I knew that I had to do a pilot. And I knew that I had to have somebody substantial in that pilot. So we went to Jennifer and we begged her. There's no guarantee on this. We don't know if this is going to sell or not, but we think it's a really good idea. And kudos to her for buying into the idea and the concept and doing that first pilot for us. And so that first pilot, we had it in the can for maybe 3 or 4 years, shopping it around to find somebody who believed in it. And finally we did. We found PBS and were able to kind of put some funding together to get the whole series shot.
Wow.
And put out there. And because she believed in us on the front end, 7 years later, she was able to walk up on stage and get an Emmy for the song that she wrote.
That is so cool.
Yeah, very fitting, very fitting. She was well deserved.
How many episodes did you do?
We did 6 episodes.
Yeah.
She's an incredible talent.
Agreed.
I've been in the business a long time, and I've never tried to cover a hit by someone else. And I wouldn't say she covered a hit, but she covered an iconic record and did it better than the original. And I've never heard anyone sing any better than she did when she did Little Drummer Boy.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Oh my goodness.
Little Drummer Boy.
It'll destroy you.
And the original was done, I'm going blank.
Harry Simeon Corral.
Really? Yeah. You went way back. Really?
Yeah. And she did it,
Did
I
Bing
bet
Crosby
I played
do
it.
though?
I bet I played it in the month of December. I probably played it 100 times.
Wow. Now I know Bing Crosby probably has the most famous version of it, right?
Little Drummer Boy, I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well,
much
a
of it.
lot. See, a lot of people. Johnny Cash had a great version.
Oh, really?
A lot of people
Okay.
have done it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is even a bigger compliment because all the people that have cut it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I never had the confidence to try and cover someone else's hit, with another artist.
Yeah.
And I know she wasn't trying to do that at the time.
Of course.
She was recording a Christmas album.
Of course.
And what do? You go get the best stuff you can find.
That's right.
That's what she did.
That's right.
Only the way she did it, I don't know who produced it, but it's the most incredible cover of a song I've ever heard.
Wow. Well, to your point, she is an incredible talent. She's an actress. She's a singer. She can do it all.
She's all of that and very beautiful.
Exactly. And it feels like she's just now hitting her prime and like coming into her own in this season. It's really fun to kind of watch that.
That is cool, yeah. You've mentioned that record a bunch of times. I knew when he said Jennifer, you were going to ask about that. He's mentioned Matthew two or three different
I'm
times.
such a fan of hers and of her singing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I asked this a minute ago, but I'm going to ask again because I'm not sure I remember. How many acts do you guys do right now? How many acts are you booking right now? Not just you, but the company.
Okay, so
because CAA was $1 million.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, and which I loved because I'm a guy who doesn't like monotony. I like to change things up.
Yeah.
And that was a great part about CAA. A good part about where I am right now is we're able to kind of focus and dig in on artists themselves. So we manage several artists. We have Alabama, and then I book Alabama. I'm the agent for Alabama. Tony Conway is the manager, and so is my colleague Brandon Malden. And then we manage and book Randy Travis. So we do that. We manage Exile. We manage Lori Morgan.
Oh.
We manage Mark Chestnut.
Wow.
We manage the Keith Whitley estate.
Right.
we manage a band called Troubadour Blue. They're kind of an Americana act, really good. Got them. Then we have Titus as well. So some artists we manage and book, some artists we just book, and some artists we just manage. So what we do is we look at the artist, we look at their career, we look at where they want to go, and we put the best team around them. And if there's somebody else out there that's better to serve them in any capacity, we're fine doing that. We do what's best for the artist. That's the way we look at it.
Right. And so I'm guessing over there that sometimes it's all hands on deck. You say I book them, and the management. I mean, you get involved in management sometimes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sometimes Tony will say, "Hey, I've got an idea. Do you know anybody?" "Yes, let me call them." Or, "Tony, have you thought about doing this with that artist? I can help out if you need me to." I'll get stuck with a date with Alabama, and of course, Tony is. I don't know that there'll ever be a more iconic agent than Tony Conway.
No, he's a good one.
If you go back and look at the artists that he's represented and the things that he's done, it's just inconceivable
all
that
the
another
way
agent.
back.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Right. And it's inconceivable that one single person can do what he's done in his career ever again.
Crazy?
I just don't know that the business is set up for that anymore.
No.
So that being said, if I get stuck with Alabama, I can go in there to Tony's office. Whatever situation I can bring to him, he's gone through it before. He's already done it.
Yep.
And he can say, "Blake, here's what we do." Or, "Blake, here's how you handle it." Or, "Blake, let me call somebody for you." He's just
Yeah,
the
man.
best. He is
Yeah,
the
man.
best. So to your point, there's a lot of synergy that goes on. And I love every single person I work for. And I want to see them succeed as much as I want to succeed. And they feel the same about me. And it's a great environment to work in. And so because of that, when there's an all hands on deck moment, we all get on deck immediately.
That's so cool. You know, when I was working with Harold at the Music Mill, it was that way. You know, it was a team and fun. You're talking about, enjoyment, everybody connecting. There's nothing better than a team working on something. And I can go over there. If I got this, you go ahead. You know, it's so cool when it works that way.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's very unique.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they can actually do it.
Yep.
You know, It happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And we celebrate each other's successes as we would celebrate
Yes.
our individual
Yeah.
successes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's a great second half of my career. Great place to spend it for sure.
Yeah, man. That's way cool. So what were we mentioning a minute ago? Somebody the bluegrass record. Harold wants to make a bluegrass record. He'd love to produce a bluegrass record.
Really?
I've already Doug is already going to hire him previously for another record we were talking
Okay.
about. So we want to get Harold in making some more records.
I love
See,
it.
now I've turned into his agent and manager too. So I'm kind of following your path a little bit.
Well, good. We got to find a bluegrass act for him then, right?
Oh. Well, you got Titus.
I guess Titus could do it.
I'm putting
do
him
a
on the
bluegrass
spot.
country kind of version. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
man.
what we do.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's fun stuff.
I got to hear him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I got to hear him too if you're that
Okay.
excited about it.
Yeah, we'll play some music after this is over with.
That's way cool.
Yeah.
That's way cool.
We got to hear that drummer boy song.
Yeah, we got to hear that too. Yeah.
Man, he's been talking about that record for a couple of years.
Well, it's just, it's special. I had nothing to do with it,
Yeah.
but I can't get it out of my mind.
Wow.
It's just,
That's what it's supposed
it's
to do.
part of my catalog now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
of things I love.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, something I'm interested in is the Randy Travis thing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen what that is or anything, but that's how does that work? I haven't seen him live doing this thing. How do they do that?
So it's a very unique experience, and probably, I don't know if it's ever been done before. Of course, Randy, an iconic artist in his own right, suffered a stroke maybe 10 years ago. I hope I've got that right, which left him in a state where he couldn't sing anymore. And so it's just not fair to someone who has contributed so much to the institution of country music to not be able to make a living in the final part of his life and career. And so Tony, being the amazing man that he is, and in addition to being a businessman, thought the same way. So he said, okay, we got to figure this out. So he dug in, along with Randy's production manager, tour manager, Jeff Davis, who's been with him for years as well. And so they came up with a concept where they would get Randy's original band together. They found a surrogate singer, a guy named James Dupree, that sings very similar to Randy. He's a younger guy. And put together this video montage of this vintage footage of Randy performing in concerts. And so the way the basic show unfolds is Randy and Mary, his wife, come out. They kind of introduce the show, welcome everybody to the show. They have these seats on stage where they sit down on stage just to the right of the band. And James Dupree, the surrogate singer, comes up and then starts singing some of the songs. And as he's singing the songs, you're watching the vintage footage of Randy in concert up there. And you get to watch Randy and Mary actually enjoying the performance with the crowd themselves. And then in between the songs, of course, Randy was an actor as well. And so he's got...
And a good actor.
A great actor, exactly.
Yeah.
And so there's little video montages of Randy's little acting scenes and things that go on between the songs themselves, so it keeps the audience engaged. Mm-hmm. And then there's some really pretty amazing surprises at the end of it. Randy has taught himself to sing a few little lines of a couple of songs, and if he's feeling up to it, he kind of does that. If you're lucky, you might be able to get him doing an encore singing the first verse and chorus of Amazing Grace, which after he does it, there's not a dry eye in the house.
Wow, I didn't know he could do it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's just a moment. It's just a moment. And I will say, we at Conway Entertainment Group were booking this, and it was a new concept. And those first 6 months of booking those shows, they weren't easy, because taking this concept and trying to sell it to a promoter who's got to put the money on the table for it and try to take this concept and sell it to ticket buyers who are going to buy tickets to it is not an easy thing to do.
No,
it's not.
I can imagine.
It takes a lot of focus, a lot of digging in, a lot of multiple phone calls, a lot of long conversations. But after we got that first run of dates in, the responses were just overwhelming.
Wow.
And so all we had to do was just refer the new buyers back to the ones who had done this before. I booked him at a casino, his first casino play for this particular show. I got a friend of mine, and I had to call him up, and I said, you got to do me a solid on this one. Trust me on this one. And so I sold it to him for a certain amount. And he did the show. It sold out. He called me back the next day and goes, you should have charged me double.
Wow.
But that show was amazing. And I said, okay, cool. I'm going to use that line when I go back to the next casinos. But it's that kind of show. Look, as you know, when you take upon a project that's new and hasn't been done before, it's an uphill battle to get it done.
Yep.
But if you believe in it enough and you believe in the cause enough, you muscle through all of those objections, and you get to the point where you get to say, I told you so, and it feels good. And
got it done.
That's right. It feels good that we did it and we were able to accomplish that. But it feels good that we're giving back to a deserving icon that, in a really, in a way to honor his legacy.
Yeah. I got to go see that.
Well, what a pairing. And we had the rider on earlier of 3 wooden crosses and Randy Travis, just what a great pairing
it
that
is.
Yeah,
It is. And he does it so well. And it's so authentic. Whether he's singing about faith.
It's so unique and different, and it's so good.
It is.
And it is authentic.
It is authentic. You're exactly right. It's him through and through.
I got to see that show. That was the question. I haven't seen it, but nobody's ever done that before.
That's right.
That's something I've never seen. I got to see it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's kind of like.
And also, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Wade.
I was just saying, describing it, it's kind of like when Johnny Cash had the Hurt video.
Yes.
Because you're watching him kind of perform.
Yeah.
But you're watching all the clips of when he was a young man and wild, and
that's right.
And this is where it's led to.
That's right. It's so powerful. It's a powerful moment to see the person where they are now, and to be able to juxtapose that with where they were and how they came up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I got to see that show. I got to see that show.
Well, I was just going to say that I can't even tell you the name of the movie. He was a detective or lawman of some sort, Randy, in this movie, and I was watching it. I got to thinking, if this guy doesn't want to sing anymore, all he's got to do is go to Hollywood.
That's exactly right.
He was so authentic
That's
again, and it's like he had been in acting school all his life.
Yeah.
It was so natural.
And the only one that I can compare that to, like you say, that had that natural ability was Christofferson. Because Christofferson made that change very seamless.
Same with acting.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Dwight Yoakam's another.
There's another one.
Right.
Exactly right. Dwight's exactly right. I
Absolutely.
forgot about him. Yes.
And Randy was the irate juror in the movie The Rainmaker. Do you remember that?
That's right.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah,
Wow.
Francis Ford Coppola directed that, but like he was a juror that goes off in the courtroom and he gets tackled. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I got.
The bailiff in that movie's from Paintsville,
Oh wow,
and he's the one that tackles Randy Travis.
wow, wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Wow.
Show business.
Yeah,
That's right.
man.
Isn't it great?
It
Yeah,
is.
man.
That's
It's
the
the
best. It's the best.
Yeah, man. So, what's the next thing you're? I mean, I think I asked this earlier before we stopped, but what's the next thing you're working on that you're really? Is there anything you're really excited about? That you're just starting on something new?
Well, I'm not going to get too deep into it yet because I don't like to let things out of the bag before they're ready. But I've been working for a long time on a project with the Vatican, and so it's having to do with music that has been lost over the centuries from master composers, and my partner has been able to find this music, and it's just a treasure trove of it. It's so much to go through, but we found some jewels in there. And so we are constructing a docuseries that will reveal that music to the world, and hopefully, in the way we're putting the format together, bridge the gap between the classical and contemporary, where actual young kids will find it accessible and enjoy it as well. So I'll leave that there.
Well, you're following.
There you go, man.
You're following his footsteps. nobody would have thought of that. That's what you say about him. He's lost his mind. I love that. That is so cool.
Yeah. So we've got that, and I've got a couple of other smaller projects that I'm developing. I say small. They could be big, but they're in the early development phases of it. So that's really fun and exciting. And then, as I said, I mean, I love with Titus, I love being able to dig in very early on something that you can just close your eyes and see performing on, an arena stage one day and say, all right, let's get going, and move that along. So that's it. That's it. I'm keeping my focus, and we at Conway Entertainment Group try to keep our focus on projects too, to make sure we're giving them the proper support to get it up and develop it the way it needs to be.
That's way cool, man.
Yeah.
You think that Vatican music's overdone? That's cool. That's unique. That's cool.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean,
man.
it's something I've been working on for years, and luckily the other projects that I've done took a long time to get done. So now I have a sense of patience that I didn't have before, making sure we have the right partners, it's positioned correctly, it's developed correctly, and so when it gets out there, it's going to be a quality project that we think the marketplace is going to respond very well to.
That's
So
cool.
that's our philosophy, and that's kind of how we're doing it.
Way to go.
Way cool.
Yeah.
That's way cool.
Yeah.
Well, good, man. Y'all got some more questions? I'm trying to think of something else. Anything we can cut
Can
in
I
here?
can I turn this around
You
a little
can.
bit? Would
Go.
you be okay with
Go.
that? So, as we mentioned before, I've been the agent for Alabama for 15 years. It might have been mentioned before, but Harold was first producer for Alabama. So it's interesting to me because we're kind of bookends on the career of the greatest band in country music history. And that's one of the many reasons that I'm excited about sitting here. But I would like to know a little bit about your experience, Harold, with Alabama. Like, how did you find them? How did you hear about them? Let's start off one question at a time. How did you hear about the band Alabama? And I bet were they Wild Country back then?
They
called Wild Country?
were Wild Country.
Okay.
And there was well, it's hard to find a starting point, but they were on an independent label.
Okay.
And there was a company in town, and you may remember it, called Nationwide Sound
Okay.
Distributors.
Okay.
And they distributed independent product
Okay.
and promoted it at radio.
Okay.
And so I had a great relationship with them in that I had produced a lot of independent artists
Yeah.
and people coming in with, 20 grand, want to make a record, and
Yeah.
and some of it was good.
Yeah.
So the ones I thought were viable, I would take to Joe and Betty Gibson at
Okay.
Nationwide.
Yep.
It was a man and wife,
Uh-huh.
and we were always that she was a great music person too, and we were talking about music all the time, and I kept telling her, now if you get one of these independent things that you think is worthwhile, just call me. And one day she called me and says, I've got a band. I want you to come in here.
Okay.
We're doing a record for them at radio, and it's up to 32 on the country charts. And it was a song called I Want to Come Over.
Okay.
It's on the first album.
Okay.
And so I went over, and I liked the band more than I liked the song. But I says, where is this band? She says, well, they're called Wild Country, and they're from Alabama, but they're playing at a club in Myrtle Beach,
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
And
The
they're-
Bowery.
The Bowery.
Yeah.
And they're not employed. They're playing for tips. And so, my goodness, I said, I think I want to go see them. So that's what I did. I went to the Bowery, and I'm going to tell you guys this, and that still impresses me. Most impressive thing I ever saw. When Alabama was performing on stage, and they were doing all of their original songs, everything they did on stage, except for maybe a Waylon song, or Jeff or Teddy would do Green River, or, but everything they did was stuff they wrote and performed.
Wow.
And the audience knew these songs, and they've never been on the radio.
Wow.
So I thought, somebody's paying attention to
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So, I became intrigued with it to the point that I stayed till the show was over, and Randy invited me out to his trailer. He was living in a house trailer at the time. And went out, and we started talking, and all that. One thing led to another. So pretty soon, I'm going back to Nashville and finish this album they have started.
Yeah.
So that's just, it came together, and I started working on the album, and he said, we've paid for what we've done, but we don't have any money to do it. I said, well, I'll finish it, So I did, and we got it finished, and we recut some things they had done, and we got through with My Homes in Alabama. It was 8.5 minutes long. So I knew from my time in radio that
It wasn't gonna
radio
work.
ain't going to ever play an 8.5-minute song.
No.
It's just not going to happen,
Yeah.
They could be John Wayne, and they wouldn't do it,
Yeah.
But there is a rhyme and reason to all of that. In November and December of every year, every business, they shoot the mother lode, in advertising,
Yeah.
and it's all you see.
Yeah.
And then in January and February, it drops way down. So at that time, you could only run 18 commercial minutes an hour.
Okay.
And so you can't get the only 5-minute record playing was El Paso at that time by
Okay.
Marty Robbins.
Yeah.
And, so, well, we got My Homes in Alabama edited to 5 minutes, I think 22 or 23 seconds. And okay, guys, if you want radio to even consider this, we got to put it out in January and February because they are the slowest months for radio advertising.
Okay.
So
since they haven't
And
sold
see,
those
and I-
advertising
and I-
slots, they have more opportunity to play more music, and you could slide that in.
you can get that longer record
Got it.
in, see,
Got it.
and having spent
Yeah.
14 years in radio and playing records, I had learned that much about it. And so we put that into the mix. And so long story short, put it out in the spring, early spring.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't go to number one, but it created so much interest that, well, I had pitched them to every label in town
Okay.
at the time. And one specific label told me, but they really didn't have any country artists, but it was a major label. He said, well, you know, you might get this played up and down the Alabama line, but I don't think anybody anywhere else is going to be interested in that song. Wow. So I couldn't take that for, that was not the right answer for me. Yeah. So I went to work, and then we got them on the New Faces show.
Mm-hmm.
And a lady at
For
that
CRS,
time,
Country
yes,
Radio Seminar
yeah,
New Faces Show.
Yes, the
Okay.
New Faces show. And a lady that was so instrumental at that time in helping us had started, she created the Nashville Songwriters Association.
Okay.
And her name was Maggie Cavender.
Okay.
And she's passed, but the logo is hers. It all begins with a song.
Right.
That's Maggie's. And so all of that started kind of just, I don't know, coming together, and everybody that heard the band loved it. And so when they did the New Faces show, even though they had a band, they didn't perform, they sang.
Okay.
And they're better when they perform
Yeah.
and sing.
Yeah.
But it was enough that the next day, Jerry Bradley called me from RCA and said, hey, I want to talk about this band you got. Come over to my office at 10 in the morning. I said, okay. I went to his office. This is a true story. He related it when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and this is the whole story. And at 10 o'clock, about 10:03, we had a record deal on RCA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What took so long?
Yeah.
Took so long. He loved My Homes in Alabama.
Yeah.
And he says, how much money have you got in it? I told him that. He asked me who did it, who paid all that. I told him. So the band paid for some of it. I paid for some of it. What you got in it? And I told him, got $25,000 in it. And,
Wow.
And he says, well, I'll give you 40 for it. And he gave me $40,000 for it. And he says, I'll give you 50 to do the next one. And if it sells more than 200,000 pieces, you know, whatever you budget you want, you can have it. So they thought and he told me, says, if we sell 200,000, this will be a good deal for us. 5 months, it was gold.
Wow.
A year, it was platinum. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
all over.
And that was small compared to the future.
It was.
Wow.
And then,
Well, the second record sold, Feel So Right sold 4 million.
Yep.
You know,
and then the first number one was Tennessee River.
Tennessee River.
And then how many?
And
after
then
that?
we had 20 more number ones after Tennessee River
consecutive.
consecutively.
Wow.
No interference.
That's
one.
incredible.
Nobody will ever top that.
No.
That's why they're such an iconic band. And they wrote half of them at
Yeah.
least.
What's interesting about them, though, that looking back, is that there was no ego involved in song selection. It was as if they put their songs out on the table, they put other songs
That's
from outside
right.
out on the table. Whatever was the best song won. And it's so hard at times for artists and producers to look at an album from that perspective. And
At that time, we were getting the best of the best. Everyone wanted an Alabama cut. They wanted to be on a gold record, you know. So we were getting so many great songs that we couldn't even cut,
yeah.
you know. I think over a period of a few years, Larry Shell was in our A&R department at that time, and he was helping us a lot. But during that time, he probably had 40, 50 songs that went number one for other artists
Wow.
that Alabama could not cut
Yeah.
because they didn't feel it fit them, or you can't cut but so many,
Right.
you know.
Yep.
So it was that kind of atmosphere, and we were getting the best of the best.
Yeah.
First call, you know.
And even though you were getting the best of the best, they were writing some amazing
They were
songs
still
too that stood
writing.
up against
They
the
were
best
still
of the best.
writing.
Yeah.
But Randy and Teddy would always say, "Find us some songs," you
Yeah.
know, and I would.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It
phenomenal.
was like that.
It worked out pretty good.
And then we got ready to do. I will tell you this: the Christmas album, and Randy said, "Harold, we want to do a Christmas album." I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, if we're going to do one, I would like to do one of Christmas songs that no one has ever heard." I said, "I don't know how many different ways you can do Silent Night,
Yeah.
but it's been done."
Yeah.
You know. So, and they agreed. They agreed.
Wow.
And they were kind of thinking on that line too.
That's great.
So I said, "I'll start searching for Christmas songs." So I called every publisher that I had a relationship with and would talk to me at that time. And I say, "Hey, if you've got a Christmas song that no one's ever cut, I would really like to hear it, you know."
Yeah.
So, boy, they started rolling in. And pretty soon we had Mary and Joseph's Boy and Candle in the Window. And they wrote Christmas Dixie.
Yeah, Christmas in Dixie.
They wrote it, and it came out as a single before the album sold 2 million copies. The single did.
Yep.
And then it was the main cut on the album.
Yep.
And Becky Hobbs wrote I had a bunch of really great writers that had sent me all these Christmas songs. And it was an incredible Christmas album. It sold millions.
Oh, of course. And Christmas and two things. Christmas and Dixie, I've heard from someone that there's probably only a handful of modern Christmas standards. Standards meaning you hear them every Christmas time,
Right.
time and time again.
Right.
And there's maybe...
And they're not that country.
Exactly. But that's the only, correct me if I'm wrong, modern country standard that's out there right now. And there's only 4 others that I can tell you that's been cut probably in the past
Same.
20 years or so.
Same.
And kudos to you because you saying, hey, we don't want to cut standards. We want to cut something new was the catalyst for them to go off and write Christmas and Dixie and come back and then have one of the modern standards. So fascinating how it all works out, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And Chuck Bedwell
But,
that worked for Harold said he had to listen to like 1,000 Christmas songs for that album, and they were listening to them in July.
Yeah.
To get ready.
Yeah, that's true.
But if it can put you in the mood in July, it'll put you in the mood in
Amen.
Christmas, right?
Absolutely. Boy.
But same thing. I didn't do the gospel record, but I would have had that same attitude. I don't say they did it wrong. I'm just saying I would have done it differently.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I would not put "I'll Fly Away" and "There's Power in the Blood" because you know there are other things really good that no one's ever heard.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that was always my thing, though. I wanted something I'd never heard before.
I get it.
You know,
I get it.
When I hear a song, I want to hear some lines and hooks that I've never heard before.
Makes perfect
so
sense.
all of that was really a big part of the beginning
Yeah.
of the band of the decade.
That's amazing. 5 decades.
And now,
Right?
Now, yes. How many bands have had that kind of longevity, you know? Or artists of any sort.
Agreed. It's hard, and it's hard for bands.
It's a
too.
3-year business for most artists,
Absolutely,
you know?
and for bands even shorter sometimes because the dynamics of keeping a band together through what it takes for the longevity of career is just really difficult. With a solo artist, you make the decisions, you are who you are. But with a band, it is a cohesive unit that has to operate as a cohesive unit. You know, it's several individuals, and they're family. In the end, they're family, and they will acknowledge
I don't know
that.
if you know this or not, but as being their associate now, you will appreciate it. The first manager went to prison. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
And he turned the band over to another gentleman. In 3 months, he went to prison. And I tell people, then I got Dale Morris, and he should have been in prison. So, anyway. But,
Well, there was a time
I made
when-
it into a funny thing. But,
That's funny.
But Dale came along, and I played him the tape,
Yeah.
and he got it.
Yeah.
And actually,
did
Dale
Dale-
was the first guy that ever let me into his office to play him a record.
Really?
Yeah. He was with Ron Chansey at a company called Chartwheel.
Okay.
And they had the guy rub it in. Billy Crash Craddock was their main artist. But Dale was receptive, and we had kind of become friends over the years.
Yeah.
And this is a couple of years or so after that. So I took Dale the tape, and he wanted to manage him. And
So that was the first album. So you took him a copy of the first album before it was released, and is that what you're saying? And that's when he decided to do it.
No, it was after that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, we had already gotten the deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Del,
interesting time.
it is interesting times, and that's, Del's an icon. I mean, Del
Yes.
being able to have the vision to,
I guess he was with them how many years?
wow,
35 maybe?
35, something like that,
Yeah.
40, 35
Yeah.
years. Yeah, probably 35 years.
Wow.
He and the promoter back then, what was his name? I know his name. He was a great guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, who ever saw that coming? I mean,
No
you
one
thought you
saw
had
it.
You thought you had a hit record, but who saw that coming?
Who would have thought that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
And still going.
Yep, still
And
going.
still
And-
going.
And in good and capable hands, I think. Yeah, man.
And at that time, Randy Owen, he could have been Merle Haggard. He could sing country songs like,
Yeah.
man, he did it with so much soul and authenticity.
Yep.
I guess is
Yep.
the word.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a great band.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember when I first signed them, it was just a surreal moment for me, of course. 'Cause growing up in Alabama, if you turn on a country radio station, you're going to hear an Alabama song about every hour.
Yeah.
That's just part of it.
Even now.
Even now. And everybody in the state of Alabama reveres them. They're like deities. They walk on water, whatever, as soon as they cross the state line.
Yeah.
And so I remember when I got word that, they were going to choose me to be their agent, it was just a surreal out-of-body experience. And so, of course, we were all celebrating, because this was like a big thing for our office and for us. And I remember after that, everything quieting down a little bit, me shutting my door, going in my office and putting my head on my desk saying, I cannot mess this up. Because if I do, I will never be able to step foot in my home state again, That's funny. I just felt this massive burden being placed on me. But they're the greatest guys ever.
They are.
They really are. They feel like family. They make people around them their family, and they treat them that way. And it's a very special thing. Very special thing.
Yeah, man, that's cool.
Yes.
Well, man, Blake, I want to thank you a bunch for coming by here today.
Awesome.
We were excited to do this. I'm so
much
glad
fun.
we got to hang and do this, Wade and Harold, and man, it's been great.
Yeah.
It's been great. What a great story, man. I wish you so much more success. You've done so great, man.
Thank you so much.
You were a really great group of people, including Tony.
Yeah.
I love Tony Conway.
Everyone does.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man. That's
I
cool.
admire him so much. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Blake, thank you
Really
so
appreciate
much,
it.
brother.
Thank you, Russ.
Thank you, Blake.
Guys.
Thank you, Blake.
Today's episode was brought to you by Wild Bill's Fireworks, popchevy.com, and the Kent Rose Foundation. This episode is also brought to you by theforkend.com. Tune in next week to the music station, WWCC with Harold Shedd, broadcasting live from beautiful downtown Bremen, Georgia, 1440 on your radio dial. What you just heard just happened. Thank you for listening to Behind the Shed. We hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next week as we go Behind the Shed.